Welcome to the Hustle Wing podcast. Today we are joined by Reed Standish. We're going to chat to them today about your company and stuff. We're going to get to know your idea and just have a generally chill time. So thank you so much for joining us, Reed. What's your idea?
So I saw the listing. Again, it's for a service, software as a service.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, my idea, or um, you know, so again, first category is what is it, right? I don't know who all is going to be watching this and how familiar everyone is with the. It's an award-winning, globally renowned card trading game called Magic: The Gathering.
Okay.
It's kind of the grandfather of the other trading games. So if you see how popular Pokemon is, or
Yeah.
you others, this one was kind of the first, the
Oh.
grandfather of them all. So it was originally designed and created back in the 80s, 70s, and it's very Dungeons and Dragons fantasy, kind of based, and a little bit more mature art styles and stuff. But
Okay.
there are millions of players, again, globally, whether that be in person or online. They have a couple different online avenues for, again, this card trading game. So
Mm-hmm.
the product and the company that I'm working towards building up, and again, an application for a software as a service, is
Mm-hmm.
it's the game itself is very complicated. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of different information that is available out there, and again, other services that are available to the players of the game. And
Okay.
kind of as a baseline, and one of the initial features that on launch for this app would be what they call a life counter. It's effectively just a number counter. It'll start at 20 and show another person's 20, and you click on the screen and it'll go up or down. And it's just one way that people who play in person can keep
Mm-hmm.
track of the life totals, because the idea
Yeah.
is battling mages and you're playing these cards and spells to defeat your opponent. And
Yeah.
so aspect that you keep track of. And again, it's something you could write down on pen and paper. And there's a number of these different, what they call life counter services out there and available currently. The way that I would like to set it apart is I have a few
Mm-hmm.
different ideas on, again, the educational aspect. I explained it's a complicated game, so there's a number of these different phases throughout it that aren't
Mm-hmm.
really well described, or I don't see anyone else including that in with the services they currently provide. So that was one kind of tip off that I was like, this would be really nice to kind of have, and
Yeah.
kind of starting off with the problem that I addressed. Um, Moving from that, the other issue that I found with playing the game itself, whether that be online or in person, and again, there's all these different services from shops, card markets, to get that life counter, to tracking the cards that you currently have, cards that you want. Uh, Effectively, the market for the cards works a lot like a stock as well, where these prices will
Okay.
fluctuate, will go up and down. And so there's a lot of individuals out there who track that, and effectively, there's just tons of different services available
Yeah.
outside of the actual playing of the game. It
Okay.
doesn't, one company has really utilized or branched out to include all of them in just a
Mm.
singular platform. So currently, when I get online to play, I have 3 to 4 different tabs open of the different things that I'm using and
Gosh.
like to play with. And so that's where I'm
Yeah.
like, if I had one centralized hub or one company that
Mm-hmm.
then provided all these services,
Mm.
that would be fantastic, and that would probably, again, send them right to the forefront of Apple or Android, iOS stores, and
Yeah.
could make a niche within this market. And that's where I felt it was lacking. It's kind of the, again, all in one, your
Yeah.
magic program. So that's
Awesome.
more or less what the concept and the idea of the company is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to get some background on who I am and how I even came about this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the obvious being I am a huge nerd, so I've been to fantasy, tech, and all that pretty much my whole life. Big upbringing on Lord of the Rings, other fantasy titles and such. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's something near and dear to my heart. Something that I play regularly in my own free
Hmm.
time. Again, came up with this idea. Where's uh, my current employment situation and current background? Kind of delve into that a little bit for you. So I'm currently full time employed as a financial assistant here at a car dealership. It's not my first of work for sure, but it's getting the bills paid and keeping
Of
food on the
course.
table at the moment.
Yeah.
But my education and my area of interest really has always been into art. Um, so I have a number of certifications from concurrent enrollment when I was back in high school, and that was for
Hmm.
3D animation. That I
Hmm.
then took, and I was accepted on about a half a ride scholarship to Savannah College of Art and Design, where I
Amazing.
then doing a BFA in animation, and unfortunately, life circumstances, cost of schooling, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
got to play, and so I did actually come home for a while, went back to working full time,
Mm.
wherever places I was at that time, but came back home and was working again and kind of testing the waters, trying out different mediums of art, trying to figure out exactly what direction I wanted to go. This was back in, I believe it's 2021. I re-enrolled at the same um, tech campus that I did my animation certifications with, and
Hmm.
just kind of brush up and get recertified. So I actually went for graphic design and illustration this time
Okay.
around. So I am, still currently an Adobe certified professional, or
Hmm.
Adobe certified associate, and I have my ACA for illustration or Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign. Those kind of my three main programs there.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas I took that and then wanted to try doing freelancing graphic design work. That has posed its own issues and as well, without you know, having stuff lined up right after
Mm.
the occasions. I tried a number of different avenues, tried my own branding, so on and
Yeah.
so forth. Didn't get anything lifted on that end, but
Yeah.
uh, again, big background in the art and the design. I'm
Yeah.
pumped up with different schemes or ideas, and I've
Yeah.
probably written different proposals, as far as business proposals in my past.
Hmm.
Nothing I wanted to launch or get off of, but there were good practices and exercises for kind of getting my ideas down on paper.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas this kind of quite a bit more recently.
Uh-huh.
Um, Again, as of the need from being a player myself is kind of where I was coming from, and
Yeah.
I first saw the ads for you guys just right after kind of conception of the idea, and
Hmm.
getting sanity checks from those close by, and even those who don't understand the game or
Yeah.
know any could understand at least what I was explaining to them and acted excited about it. So, and that got
Yeah.
me to put in more work towards it.
Awesome.
Um,
So, Reed,
yeah,
I just want to understand. So, what is it that what would the actual app look? Is it an app or is it a website? And what would it look like? So you said that there's like different sections because you said it is a complicated game, which I understand. But kind of break it down to me. Like, what are the thoughts? What is your thought behind it? Is there like augmented reality, or is it like I don't know? Again, like, is it an app, or kind of walk me through the software itself?
So it's ideally it's going to be ported for both. Um,
Okay.
have that accessibility really needed for both. A lot of the player
Hmm.
base I would say is online, so having an actual web site launch area as well, aside from
Hmm.
the best situation, I feel
Okay.
like is as far as the app itself goes. Effectively, it's going to be your logins, creating an account, that sort of thing on when you
Hmm.
first initialize into it. So
Hmm.
you'd be creating a custom profile and being able to customize that in a number of different ways. And then
Hmm.
the homepage would effectively open you up to the different tabs and services available out
Yeah.
there. And so,
Yeah.
again, whether that's a card market, tab where you'd be able to see all the current pricing for the cards and how they've, gone up or down, in the recent
Hmm.
week or so on and so forth. Just like a stock market page, basically would
Yeah.
be. Um, again, the direct to ordering, being able to look at the different cards and connect that up with a like card market that you can actually purchase from. So then there will be purchasing features within that. There's
Mm-hmm.
again the different tabs for your profile customization, but on top
Mm-hmm.
of that, the different tabs and settings for that initial life counter I was talking
Mm-hmm.
about. Another aspect that seems to be missing is a lot of them just have either a blanket color that you can change or maybe a preset of images that you're able to access. Where I'd really like to open that up for
Okay.
the app to be able to access their photo library and include photos they would like themselves of whether that be
Yeah.
cards or anything else. Can delve more into the customization side of that. So
Okay.
really, it's just a hub for the different tabs of all the services kind of
Yeah.
needed. Where other services I've seen out there are more or less exclusively just the one thing, and then the different
Mm-hmm.
options within that. I'd really ideally want to open this up to everything that you need in association with that, and
Yeah.
fairly on launch, I feel is this would be needed, but as long as this was like upfront and that again, this is kind of the mission statement behind the company as a whole and something to build towards, and again, update and revise and um,
Yeah.
so having different milestones within
Yeah.
the project proposal and um, again different goals of these features to be met
Yeah.
within certain time blocks is kind of the way I perceived or imagined it coming together. So
Yeah.
overall, the look again, just your regular login stuff, and then um, the different tabs and going into that and kind of customizing it. So just a lot of the information. It's not a game to play. It's not you
Mm.
know different. I believe animation wise, again, I have that
Yeah.
background animation, so I would like to include that again in the life counter feature of that. It's another
Mm-hmm.
feature of those is, how cool it'd be if when you tap to take points from your opponent, some little sword slash and animation or noise happens that it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
right, or you heal up and you hear a little ding or green light and
Yeah.
something. Um, you
Just
know,
to bring the game to life.
exactly. Kind of makes it more interactive and
Yeah.
tabletop experience being a little bit more fun in that way, but also useful in the aspect of it's going to be everything you need all in that one
Yeah.
login. Um, and then kind of
Okay.
moving on, my vision again was I kind of leaned on that already, but is to
Mm-hmm.
grow it, make it become that number one Magic the Gathering assistance software program on the
Mm-hmm.
market. And again,
Mm-hmm.
ideally doing so by including all services needed, by having
Mm-hmm.
again clean and great looking UI, very user friendly in all the
Mm-hmm.
customization aspects that we'd be able to implement towards it. And again, just uh, it being a hub for not only all these features but also social aspects of things. So being
Mm.
able to add friends to the game and being able to share the decks that you're working on or
Yeah.
building or share information that way. And they even list in IRL or in person
Mm-hmm.
tournaments or getting with local card shops and stuff, maybe showing their newsletters on when they
Okay.
have real life events and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
build a community behind it and
Mm-hmm.
being able to build such a strong service that it is just the go-to service for
Yeah.
all Magic the Gathering players. Um, that would be the ideal vision. Now, the biggest challenges that I have been coming across,
Mm-hmm.
and first and foremost, it really being such a early conception of the idea. It is still in a planning phase. A lot of my ideas written down, a lot of the way I would like the features to go. Um, then again, with my background being in art, I'm totally fine with designing it. And I found software and services online, especially to be able to get mock-ups and test kind of different features and things that are more designer friendly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
however, I I don't have any coding experience. I don't have any, you know, native language, knowledge as far as
Mm.
CSS or
Yeah.
HTML or
Yeah.
Python work. So really getting a team together is one crucial factor that, and one big challenge I currently have. Again, funding for anything, I, I'm scraping by as my, you know, as I am just, getting through my regular bills and paying back student debt and everything else. So I
Yeah.
don't have income to really put towards a big idea such as this.
Mm.
However, I feel with a bit of leverage that I could easily, set up crowdfunding or actually bring that to the family and friends or the other associates. I do have a few connections here and there that would be potentially interested in investing in towards an idea.
Okay.
But again, to them and being, hey, will you be my first investor is a little different than, hey, I have this amount of money put into
Yeah,
this
of
game.
course.
Be willing to help out and come on board. Um,
Hmm.
but the crowdfunding and again, um, building a team together, getting enough funding in there that then I could take care of a team that would be helping me out. It's important too. Nobody's gonna want to work for free, obviously. So, um, and a lot of again the design, the planning, and actually implementation of the UI or UX design, I'm more than happy on taking on my shoulders and again doing so in the background. But really, some of these more complicated and getting the features to work exactly how I am is where the help is necessary.
Yeah.
Um, and again, what help that I guess the hustling community can provide,
Hmm.
more or less, would be that resource and the financing for the initial, you know, investor hunting and more fund sourcing. Um, the connections that you guys have as well when you were kind of explaining in the intro and everything, and being able to access or send this out to other individuals that might see this as a prosperous idea and want to come on board and help
Hmm.
out. And you know I know a few individuals and could collect a team together, from my connections through school and the different certifications and things I have. I could find some people. I just, again, whether or not they're that interested in the idea, whether they're busy with
Yeah.
other things, and of course, not having anything to provide for them, it would just be,
Mm.
hey, here's this idea. Could you help me out with it? Situation. So, um, again, the resources that can come from you guys, and the financing and the individual database, I feel like is just beyond unbelievable. And again, why I felt this was more fate, just pieces falling into place. And again, just really finding someone that's going to believe in this big dream of mine and, be willing to help make this a reality and go into this, as a full time situation would be my ideal, you know, setup here would be to be able
Yeah.
to fully dedicate into this and make this again as huge as we could possibly make it. And again, you know, uh, I'd rather be working to make my own dollar than be making a dollar for someone else. And
Yeah, of
so,
course.
my current job occupation, just being an hourly wage, it's always been a
Mm.
dream of mine to be a business owner and kind of a boss of a sort. And um, I didn't mention in my kind of background, but I have worked in a number of leadership type roles and built myself
Mm.
into a management position in other past occupations. And so I have no problem with leading a team and no problem delegating my ideas out. It's again finding those willing to work with me, and again,
Yeah.
um, you know, funds to be able to make it actually become a reality.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your idea with us. We guys see the need for it. I mean, there's definitely a strong niche that you could tap into, especially if you're saying that you're playing it across different tabs or like that you're creating like a one-stop shop for your niche. I see the need for it 100%. And yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting to you, and I wish you all the best in the future. Yeah, I can't wait till it comes to life.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.